I'd like to start out this press conference with a thank you to John Elway. And I loved him, right?
Yeah.
But it just,
He
didn't
was
work
your
out,
type.
and
That's the
it was
one.
my
Yeah.
type, and you're right. That was probably my biggest mistake of my GM days, was not taking Josh.
This doesn't happen very often in the NFL, but off the field, Bradley Chubb had a much more monumental effect on the NFL than what he has done in his career on the field. I'm going to break down how Bradley Chubb not only directly impacted the future of the Denver Broncos, but how he also helped build a dynasty out in Buffalo, along with equip a defense to go directly at this dynasty in Buffalo. Welcome to my channel. I'm David Talks Broncos, and today we're going to be diving into a bunch of recent NFL history, looking back at Bradley Chubb. We're going to break down how Bradley Chubb's selection by John Elway and the Denver Broncos created a domino effect in the NFL that gave the Buffalo Bills its superstar quarterback, Miami a prominent edge rusher to help them compete, and also led to Denver getting out of the hellhole that their organization was in post Super Bowl 50 and Peyton Manning with a new head coach years later. So this is how this one particular 5th overall pick in the 2018 draft changed the NFL forever. Let's take a quick look at the Denver Broncos prior to the 2018 draft, in which the Broncos had the 5th overall pick. They were coming off of 2 seasons where they had Trevor Siemian as their starting quarterback, Paxton Lynch, their first round draft pick in 2016, had flared out. Gary Kubiak had retired. Of course, Peyton Manning is long gone in retirement, and the Broncos are looking for a new identity. Now, they did sign Minnesota quarterback Case Keenum in the offseason to be the starting quarterback.
Introduce you to the new starting quarterback of the Denver Broncos, Case Keenum.
We had in 2018 what was deemed the quote Hall of Fame 5 by local radio host D-Mac. That included quarterbacks Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen, right out of Denver's backyard up there in Wyoming. Now, many theorized that Denver would go quarterback in this first round. And why? Well, they went from winning the Super Bowl in 2015 to going 9-7, missing the playoffs in 2016 with Gary Kubiak, hiring Vance Joseph in 2017, going 5-11. It was very clear there needed to be a reset within the organization, and this was a phenomenal class to get a young quarterback and start building a new era of Denver Broncos football. Now, with the Buffalo Bills in 2017, Sean McDermott had just finished his first year as head coach of the Bills, and I think they had a pretty good season, going 9-7, tying for second in the AFC East, and losing in the wildcard round to the Blake Bortles-led Jacksonville Jaguars 10-3. Promising building year for the Bills, but it was evident that Tyrod Taylor was not going to be the long-term quarterback in Buffalo to get the Bills over the hump and become true contenders in the NFL. The Bills held the 12th overall pick in the 2018 draft, and they were likely going to be missing out on the top quarterbacks in that draft. It was reported that John Elway and the Denver Broncos had the most interest in quarterbacks Baker Mayfield, Heisman winner of Oklahoma, as well as Sam Darnold. Definitely had some John Elway to his game. Great arm talent coming out of USC. But Josh Allen's just seemed to make too much sense for the Denver Broncos. He was a quarterback that played just like John Elway, had the arm strength to cut through that Rocky Mountain wind that would sometimes come off the Rockies, play in bad weather games. He also had the ability to run decisively and be a true dual threat factor in the modern day NFL. Now, he did struggle with his completion percentage and had a career completion percentage of just 56.2%. And he came off of slightly a disappointing season in 2017 where, again, he only posted 56.3% of his passes being completed. But having just drafted bust Paxton Lynch, another big-armed, athletic quarterback who didn't necessarily have the best accuracy coming into the NFL, John Elway said it himself. The biggest regret he ever had was passing on Josh Allen and instead drafting Bradley Chubb.
How did you not get Josh Allen? I feel like he is exactly your type.
I know, he is. And believe me, last year I played with him, and I'm wondering how long is it going to take him to realize that I passed on him and took Bradley and Chubb instead?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it took him 2.5 holes to bring it up, and I loved him, right?
Yeah.
But it just,
he
didn't
was
work
your
out,
type.
and
That's
he
the
was
one.
my
Yeah.
type. And you're right. That was probably my biggest mistake of my GM days. Was not taking Josh.
Now, Bradley Chubb wasn't a slouch. North Carolina State. He was regarded as by far the best pass rusher. They already had Von Miller and Shaq Barrett. But with a defensive-minded coach and with Elway too worried to pull the trigger, they disregarded the quarterback position. Lamar Jackson out of there. Josh Rosen looked over. And most importantly, Josh Allen, the kid who theoretically could have stayed home, so to speak, was passed on for a luxury pass rusher that was not needed on this Denver Broncos team, in desperate need of quarterback. And instead, they were given the keys fully to Keenum. Now, Buffalo, the 12th overall pick, knew they needed to make a move. So what did they do? They traded with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the 12th overall pick, as well as 2 second-round picks for the 7th overall pick, and used that to draft Josh Allen. Want to give a quick shout out to the flagship sponsor of David Talks Buffs and David Talks Broncos YouTube channel, and that is Profit X, America's #1 sports prediction market. This is peer-to-peer sports prediction where players play against each other, like you and me, instead of a sports book versus the house. You almost always get the best odds on any play that you're looking to make. They operate in over 40 states, including Texas, where I reside. So use the promo code Dave and claim up to $200 in profit cash for all plays in the first 30 days of playing on the site. Terms and conditions apply. Go ahead, click the link in the description, sign up using my promo code Dave on Profit X, and join me on America's #1 sports prediction market. Josh Allen went on to absolutely destroy the NFL after his rookie season. Now, in 2018, it didn't look good. He posted 10 touchdowns to 12 interceptions and a 52.8 completion percentage. But then in 2019 and then in 2020, you saw him take huge jumps. In 2019, throwing for over 3,000 yards, a 20-9 touchdown to interception ratio, raising his completion percentage to about 59%. And the Buffalo Bills made the playoffs with the 10-6 record. Then you saw in 2020, he took another huge jump in his third year, throwing for 4,500 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and a completion percentage of, get this, 69.2. Buffalo was here. They had arrived as one of the top contenders in the NFL for a Super Bowl title. They posted a 13-3 record and had a good run in the playoffs. In 2021 and 2022, Josh Allen again threw for well over 4,000 yards and over 30 touchdowns in those seasons, leading the Bills to more double-digit wins and playoff runs. While the AFC East had been used to trying to fight off the New England Patriots for their rights to the division title, it had now become clear that it was the Buffalo Bills division, and the Miami Dolphins were looking to make some noise. In 2020, led by Brian Flores, the Dolphins had drafted Tua Tagovailoa, and he was looking promising as a future franchise quarterback. So after a controversial firing in 2021 of Brian Flores, where the Dolphins went 9-8, for the 2022 season, the Dolphins hired up-and-coming offensive guru Mike McDaniel from the San Francisco 49ers to be their new head coach. Now, it was clear to Mike McDaniel, even though he was an offensive guy, that he needed some serious pass rushers to get after Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills if they were to ever have serious success in this division. And so that's exactly what he inquired to do in his first season in 2022. The Broncos, on the other hand, were spiraling out one of their worst seasons in modern day history. They had hired Nathaniel Hackett to try and sway Aaron Rodgers to demand a trade to the Broncos. That did not come to fruition. He ended up staying in Green Bay. And so Nathaniel Hackett, new GM George Payton, and John Elway kind of involved, settled for trading for Russell Wilson to start the 2022 season as their new franchise quarterback. The problem is that this was absolutely disastrous. Nathaniel Hackett somehow was a worse head coach than even Josh McDaniels was for the franchise. And the Broncos were going nowhere. It was clear they needed to trade some pieces. Bradley Chubb was in the last year of his contract, having had a good career, but not an elite career with the Broncos. He posted 170 tackles, as well as 26 sacks throughout his 5 seasons in Denver, but it was clear the Broncos, being a rebuilding team, a bad team, needed to get rid of some of their assets and prioritize the offensive side of the ball. So they made a deal with the Miami Dolphins to acquire what ended up being a late first-round pick, originally belonged to the San Francisco 49ers, sending a late first-round pick in the 2023 draft to Denver for Bradley Chubb. Funny enough, this led to Denver later in that offseason after firing Nathaniel Hackett. The Denver Broncos ended up trading the 29th overall pick acquired from the Dolphins for Bradley Chubb in the 2023 draft and a 2024 second-round pick to the Denver Broncos for Sean Payton and a 2024 third-round pick. Those picks the Saints got, they utilized them well. They used that first-round pick in 23 to draft Brian Bresee, as well as in 2024 to use that second-round pick from Denver to draft Kool-Aid McKinstry. But by bringing in Sean Payton, the Denver Broncos were able to conduct a cultural reset, draft what looks like to be their franchise quarterback, Bo Nix, the following year, and now they're back in contention. It was a strange road, but you can credit Bradley Chubb for helping build back the Denver Broncos and the Buffalo Bills at the same time, along with helping Miami be competitive. This isn't just a draft story. This is how one decision for John Elway to draft Bradley Chubb in 2018 rewired the entire AFC for years to come. They passed on Josh Allen. They gave Buffalo a superstar quarterback, Miami a pass rusher, but eventually Denver got value out of this pick by being able to bring in Sean Payton. Every action has consequences. It was more mediocrity for years to come. For Buffalo, it was a franchise savior. And for Miami, it was playoff life. Bradley Chubb's impact on the NFL way larger off the field than actually with his play on the field? Like, subscribe. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. And let me know if there are other particular topics relating to the NFL or other strange Denver Broncos pieces of history you would like me to break down. Thank you so much.